The moment that he touched my left knee, he was like, oh, this is bad. I grew up in Champaign, which is about 2 hours south of Chicago and 2 hours west of Indy. From my sophomore year of high school on, like, football was who I was, and that was what I was known for. My hometown, it being such a small town, that's like, oh, hey, there's Jimmy, he plays on the football team. So I was a freshman at St. Thomas More playing football, and it was, you know, freshman camp. I tweaked my right knee going in to make a tackle and sat out for a couple days, and then just braced it up and kept playing. And then the night before the game at the Thursday walkthrough, and I wasn't really thinking anything of it and didn't wear my brace to practice. I went to make a really lazy cut, just half speed, not really thinking anything of it, and the knee that I had tweaked at practice a week ago just gave in completely, and right away I knew it was bad. Ended up tearing my right ACL, both meniscus, bad bone bruise, not the way I wanted to start high school, you know. It never crossed my mind that, oh, this is a career-ending injury. I just thought, you know, hey, I'm out a year, I'll rehab and come back stronger. Didn't really think anything of it, honestly. Sophomore year, played all the games, was healthy, knees felt fine. And then the spring of the sophomore year, Illinois called. Coach Beckman called me, it was like a Friday night, and told me that they were gonna offer me, and being able to have the opportunity to play for my hometown team, it was like a dream come true. Junior year was a lot of fun. The season went really well, recruiting was going well, really healthy. Leading up to the senior season, I had like received some accolades for like being the preseason player of the year, and like physically I was as prepared as I could possibly be. I would do nothing different. Our first game, I remember we won like 63-0, and I had 6 touchdowns or something like that, and like everyone was like, oh, we might be really good. And then week 2, I remember we were on the 35-yard line going north, and I threw an out to a kid, and after I had thrown it, I got tackled in the back and the right, my right leg, and like immediately like blacked out for a second and like knew that I was like, oh, this isn't good. It ended up being a partial tear in my ACL, and there was like a pothole in my bone, and so they wanted to do a surgery called microfracture surgery, but kind of the hard part about the microfracture is you can't put any weight on it for 8 weeks. So my senior year, after like we had all this build up, we were ready for a great season. Not only was I not able to play, but I had to be homeschooled because I couldn't put any weight on my leg during the recovery. I put everything I could ever think of. This is like my senior season, and now it's all over, just like that. The coaches at Illinois, like when I got hurt, they called me and told me that they still wanted me to come, and that the offer was still good. And being in a new situation and being over at Illinois, it definitely forced me to push myself through rehab. And so I came back and, you know, felt great going into my freshman season. It was the summer of 2017 when I decided to transfer. Really, the recruiting process the second time was a lot different. Coming out of high school, everyone is interested in you and everyone wants to talk to you, and being a transfer, it's not that way. Honestly, Harvard and Dartmouth were the only places that really talked to me. So went on a visit to both places, and I just absolutely fell in love with Dartmouth when I got there. And it was actually a scrimmage the second week of the season, and was about to throw, and everything was covered, so I just ran. And as I ran and crossed into the end zone, somebody from the right hit me, and somebody from the left hit me, and my left knee, which was like I'd never had a single problem with, I felt it. It didn't really buckle, it just got hot all of a sudden as I went down. To myself, I'm thinking like, there's no way. Turns out I completely ruptured my ACL, my MCL, both meniscus. It's like a stick of dynamite went off in my knee. The moment that the trainer told me that I tore my ACL and that it was on the MRI, there was there's no amount of money you could have paid me to step on a football field again. I was done. It was so difficult knowing that I put absolutely everything into it and it just didn't work. It was brutal. Somebody told me that football isn't who I am, it's just something that I do. It's just a sliver of who I am and what I do, and that really resonated with me because this whole time I was caught up in that I was like my identity, I was a football player, and that being hurt, that made me not as much as I should have been, or a failure or something like that. And so hearing that it was okay not to be playing football or not to be completely successful in football, that really helped a lot because I think it allowed me to see the bigger picture. When you're going through an injury, it's something that you have to do to some extent, you have to kind of deal with it yourself because not many people really know what you're going through. Obviously the physical part of it's difficult, but the mental part is what was by far the biggest hurdle for me. And I would just say that it's okay to feel the way that you're feeling. It's not a bad thing. It's completely normal, and to reach out and ask for help if you need it.